anyone who's newer to this class offering. My name is Carly. This is a beginner-friendly yoga class. We move at a slow pace, and that's for a couple of reasons. Primarily is it gives you time to experience each posture, and also to kind of self-correct, find proper alignment in each pose rather than moving through it so quickly that you can't make those adjustments. Also, when we have more time to hold postures, you give the muscles more time to relax, and you also get into more of a meditative mindset, we hope. So throughout practice, just of course breathe, take breaks anytime you need to, and listen to your own body. This is your personal practice. Obviously, we can't be in the same room right now practicing, so I'll give general cues, but please make any adjustments that you need to modify as you see fit. Let's begin this evening's practice lying on our backs. So rolling down onto the spine. And as you make your way onto your spine, I recommend keeping the knees bent with your feet planted, at least hips width apart. I like to walk my feet as wide as the mat and then let my knees come together, falling together towards the midline. I'll start to feel right away an opening on the outside of my hips, also across my low back, so hopefully you feel some of that as well. If you don't like this, you can keep your knees pointed right up to the sky or even stretch your legs out long. So supine, lying on the spine. Close your eyes if it's comfortable here. Your palms can be flipped up towards the sky, a receptive posture. Or you can place your hands on your body. Sometimes that's a really nice way to connect with the breath, feeling the breath move your body as you inhale and expand. Exhale, letting go. Beginning to drop in to your practice. We're lying on our backs in any way that is comfortable. Imagine that we're sinking into this practice. Take a moment just to observe how you're feeling. Do you feel anxious, maybe ready to start moving, or maybe there's just stress of the world, your personal world, or the world at large? Or maybe you feel like you're just grooving along, no stress. So notice where you are, and know that it is an ever-changing landscape. So there's no need to grasp, to hold. Notice and then let it go. And throughout practice, we'll check in, noticing any changes that we experience. Inhale deeply here. Exhale, you can sigh if you like to vocalize. Inhaling again. If you sigh and if your hands are on your body, notice the vibration. So part of why we do chant is for that vibrational aspect. We're literally vibrating the energy inside of us, creating a vibration that travels out beyond ourselves. Another few breaths here. Maybe contemplating any goals that you have for yourself for this month of May, for this week. If you follow the lunar cycles, you probably know we're coming up on a full moon. Said to be a nice time to put plans into action. So you've got a few days to maybe come up with that goal and start moving on it. So you can use this time to plant some seeds. Maybe taking those first steps in the direction of where you'd like to go. Maybe being here on your mat right now is exactly in line with what you'd like to cultivate in your life. So with hands either on your body or bringing your hands into prayer mudra, thumbs on sternum, let's begin practice lying on the ground here, chanting one round of Om together. See if you can feel the vibration inside your body. Inhale deeply. Exhale, let your breath go. Inhale deeply for one Om. Release your arms out wide like a T or a cross. Cross your right leg over your left leg. You might stay here, or maybe slowly let the legs fall over towards the left. You can let your right foot touch down to the earth and maybe stop the twist here. Or maybe let the knees come down towards the earth. Working within your range, we're just getting moving here. So no pressure, no rush. Do try to keep both shoulders anchored onto the earth here. Inhaling deeply. Exhaling completely. Just notice how it feels. I know sometimes I feel restricted when I'm trying to breathe in a twist, and that can make a little anxious or anxiety feelings pop up. So I just notice that. And then I let it go on an exhale, see if I can soften a bit. And on the next inhale, see if I can create a little more space inside my body, room for that breath to expand into. With your left hand, you might bring your left hand to your right shoulder or pectoral area. Maybe anchor down with the heel of your hand into that pec muscle. Maybe you can feel a deepening of the stretch through the right arm, right shoulder. One more inhale wherever you are with it. Exhale, letting go. Inhale, bring your knees back towards center. Plant both feet on the ground again. Hi, Toby. Cross your left leg over the right. Inhale. As you exhale, slowly let your knees fall over to the right side. Staying anchored through both shoulders so we're not letting our shoulders lift up off of the mat here. Just going to where it feels like a pleasant stretch. So, contrary to popular I don't know if it's just American society, that no pain, no gain story. Don't buy into it, at least not in this setting. We're building a firm, strong, safe foundation. And if there's pain, I encourage you to back off of it and explore your edges, explore your range. And know that that range can change without you pushing it or doing harm. Continuing to breathe here, maybe you bring your right hand up, heel of the hand to the pectoral area, kind of armpit area. Maybe you can deepen the stretch for your left arm. Releasing both arms out wide. Inhale your knees back to center, planting both feet, maybe realigning the hips. Reach your right arm up overhead as you let your knees fall over to the left. Bring it back through center, reaching your left arm up overhead, knees coming to the right. And take your time swaying side to side. Inhaling and exhaling as your knees come to the right with the left arm up, and knees to the left with the right arm up. Another time or two. Return to center. Hug your knees in. You might rock side to side. If you have a sensitive neck, please keep your neck, your head on the mat as it is now. If your neck feels strong or you want to explore, let's inhale, lifting the head up. Engage your abdominal muscles, so belly button, navel drawing back towards the spine. Squeeze a little ball in. Release the breath. On your next inhale, the legs reach long as your arms reach up overhead. Full body stretch. As you exhale, swing the arms out wide. Engaging the core muscles as you hug in. Inhale. Exhale, return to your little ball. Inhale, legs out, arms up. Exhale, drawing it into center, knowing that you can relax your head down if you'd like as we inhale. Exhale. Twice more. Inhaling. Exhale. Into center. Little rock side to side. Make your way onto your belly now. Rolling onto your side and then belly. Oh, and disclaimer, I trust if you are pregnant or if there's any other things going on, please always do what works for you. You probably don't want to be lying on your belly if you are expecting. Hands under shoulders, 10 toes reaching towards the mat. Now you can keep your feet near each other if you'd like, but I like my feet farther apart. That creates more space and also helps relieve low back and any compression that can happen as we explore Cobra. So our hands are under our shoulders, but keep the weight in the hands light. Pressing your 10 toes into the mat. Keep your gluteal muscles relaxed, so maybe give your hips a shimmy shake. Now press your hips into the mat. As you inhale, lift your heart ever so slightly, chin tucked to chest, so the back of your neck is long. Breathe here. When you're ready, on an exhale, slowly lower your head back down to the mat, either chin or forehead to mat, maybe bringing one cheek to the mat. Maybe shimmy your hips side to side. Return your head to neutral. We'll return to cobra here. So again, 10 toes, toenails pressing down into the mat. Lift your kneecaps so quadriceps engage. Gluteal muscles relatively relaxed. Engage your abdominal muscles, so kind of anchoring down that tailbone towards the heels. Inhale, lift the chest. Chin is still tucked towards the chest, so the back of the neck is long. We're light on our hands here and breathing fully. Full inhale, slowly lowering down for an exhale. We'll do this one more time. On an inhale, peel the heart up off of the mat. Shoulders stay relaxed down away from the ears. 10 toes are still reaching for the mat. On an exhale, slowly lower back down. Tuck your toes under. Press into your hands as you pass through tabletop all fours, sinking your hips back into a child's pose. In child's pose, you can have your knees together. I often like my knees out wide as the mat. Hips are sinking back towards the heels, no worries if they don't get there. If your head reaches the mat, you can rock your forehead side to side. Your arms can be up overhead, or you can bring your arms back down by your sides, giving your shoulders a break as we breathe in child's pose for a moment, giving the body a moment of rest, inhaling deeply. Exhale completely. In child's pose, extend your arms up overhead. Inhale deeply. Exhale, walk your hands off to the left. Pull your right hip back and down. Feel a lovely stretch on your right side body. So I notice it especially around my underarm area and the low back, especially on my right side. As you breathe here, you can imagine sending the breath particularly to the right lung, just pretending that we can fill up just that side. Stretching out our side bodies. Inhale. Exhale, walk your hands back through center and over to the right. This time your left hip is anchored down, maybe even imagining it pulling back in space so we can exaggerate this C-shaped curve of the spine. Breathing deeply. This time we imagine that we're sending breath just to this left side body. Stretching out all of those little intercostal muscles, little muscles between every rib. Another big inhale. Exhale. Inhaling deeply. And with your exhale, we'll walk our hands back towards the center, returning to child's pose. Now this posture is always available to you, so if at any point in practice you would like to take a pause, you can really do anything you want, but child's pose usually feels like a nice place to rest. On an inhale, lift your body up, coming into all fours. If you have a practice, feel free to go ahead and start moving through cat-cow, inhaling, dropping the belly, lifting the chin, exhaling, rounding the spine, chin to chest. But for any newer folks or anyone who wants a review, I'll discuss our foundation here, because anytime the hands are on the mats, we want to give extra attention to how we're putting the weight into our hands. So with hands on mat, fingers are spread wide as you can stretch your fingers out, but then your thumbs come in about halfway, if not more. Also anchor down towards the inside, so the index finger and thumb, especially the root of the index finger and thumb. But then you can imagine that you've got like suction cups on all of your fingertips. And so you're plugging into the mat with the fingertips and then anchoring through the index and thumb roots. Knees are right under hips, wrists under shoulders, or maybe even a couple of inches in front. And moving with your own breath, inhaling and exhaling. Feel free to close your eyes now or anytime that you feel safe in the postures. Sometimes closing our eyes can help us remove visual distractions. Inhaling and exhaling at your own pace. Some forms of yoga, they do this posture quickly. Sometimes I like to go so slow you can't even see me moving. So do whatever feels good for you today, adding any other movements that feel nice. I know I really like to pass back through a child's pose on my exhale. And then I imagine I'm a snake, dragging my heart forward on the inhale. Exhale, rounding back. Please move for a few more cycles of breath. Check in with how you're sending the weight into your hands and wrists. Return to a neutral spine. Look over your left shoulder towards your left hip. Breathe here for a round or two. Inhale deeply, and as you exhale, return to neutral. Then look over your right shoulder towards your right hip. Try and keep the weight evenly distributed through both hands. Inhale deeply. Exhale, return to neutral. We'll go to each side one more time. So suggestions for a healthy spine include moving the spine in every direction that it goes safely, as often as possible. So lateral flexion, forward flexion, extension, we'll do all of that today. Returning through neutral and then looking over the right shoulder. So this is lateral spinal flexion, side to side. And return to neutral. Tuck your toes. Actually, before we come into plank, sit back on your heels as long as it's available for you. If this is if this is not good for your knees or anything else, then you can come up onto your knees, maybe putting a blanket underneath them if you haven't already. We're just gonna give our wrists some love. So drawing some circles with the fists, taking the circles both directions. Interlace your fingers and then pull your hands away from you. Palms facing your body to start. Creating an angle on the wrists, counteracting the direction we've been taking the wrists so far, and breathing here. As you do this, pull your shoulder blades together and down still. And breathe. And give them a little shake. All right, returning to tabletop. Tuck your toes. Lift your knees off of the mat, coming into plank. And breathe here for a moment. Pressing back through your heels. Hug your core muscles in. Tailbone is reaching back towards the heels as well. Shoulders are relaxing away from your ears. Pushing the earth away. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Lower your knees down. Pass back into child's pose for just a moment. Notice your breath. If you can, notice your heart rate. I know mine spikes pretty quickly the second I start bringing plank to the party. Inhale. Exhale. Return to tabletop. Inhale, returning to plank. Breathing here. You're welcome to stay in plank. You can also always lower your knees down. And if you'd like, you can lift your left knee towards your left elbow. Hover it. Exhale, bringing it back. Round of breath. Hug those core muscles in. Push back through your heels. Bring your right knee towards your right elbow. Hover the leg there. Bring your right foot back. Lower down to the knees. Relax back into child's pose for just a moment. From child's pose, lift up, pass through tabletop, tuck your toes, returning to plank for just one more moment. Inhaling. Exhale, bend your knees, lift your hips. We're finding downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Please do whatever feels good here as you settle into your first downward facing dog of this evening's practice. So maybe sway the hips side to side. Maybe walk the dog, as they say, bending one knee and then the other. Breathing deeply as you go, and then as you begin to settle in, maybe for a few breaths of stillness, pay attention to your hands and how you're distributing the weight there again. So once again, we're light on the wrists as we anchor in through the root of the index, base of the thumb, and fingertips. Shoulder blades are sliding away from the ears. Head hangs heavy, chin slightly towards chest. Abdominal muscles engaged, belly button towards spine. I like a bend in my knees because it helps me keep my back flat and my spine long. Inhale, look forward between your hands. Exhale, slowly walk your feet to the top of the mat, landing with feet hips width apart. You can bend your knees generously here, draping your torso over your thighs. Uttanasana, forward fold. Hang out, do whatever feels good here. Sometimes I like to slide my hands under my feet, palms up, let my toes give my wrist a massage. You can also clasp opposite elbows if you prefer not to have your hands on your feet. You can also clasp your hands behind your back and either just leave them there or begin to pull the hands up towards the sky, getting into a big shoulder and chest opener. As always, this is your practice. Please do what feels right for you. I am here to guide, but you'll never hurt my feelings if you're not doing what I'm suggesting. I want you to explore your own body, build confidence in your and freedom to move as you choose. Releasing the hands back down to the earth if you took any sort of clasp. Plant your right hand right underneath your nose, and this is where if you do have a block or prop of some sort, it might be nice to use. Put a bend in your right knee as you inhale your left hand up towards the sky. So taking a spinal twist here, engage your abdominal muscles and drag that left hip back in space. As you breathe here, a few rounds of breath, check in with both of your feet. And does it feel like you're distributing the weight evenly through both feet? Anchor down equally through the pinky side edge of the foot and the big toe edge of the foot. With your awareness, trace it from the left ankle all the way up the outside of the left leg to the left hip, just noticing where you feel sensation. One more inhale here. Exhale, untwisting, putting a bend in both knees. This time place the left hand under your nose, bend in the left knee. On an inhale, take a spinal twist, reaching your right hand up towards the sky. Again, abdominal muscles are hugged in. Right hip pulling back. Breathing here. We will say right hip working towards the back. Breathing, checking in with how you feel and where you feel. Are you sending weight equally into both feet and equally into all parts of the foot, except for the toes? Generally speaking, we want to be light on our toes in our yoga practice. One more inhale here. Exhale, stay. Inhale. Exhale, untwist, returning to neutral. Hang heavy. Maybe shake your head, sway the hips, whatever you need to do to release any tension that may have snuck in there. Feet are hips width apart, center of the heel, centered with the second and third toe. On an inhale, press into your feet and take your time, rolling all the way up to standing. Palms flip forward as your arms stretch out and up, all the way to the top, maybe reaching up and over. And exhale your hands to heart center, pausing for a moment. With your thumbs on your sternum, maybe you can feel your heartbeat. Release your hands down by your sides. Take a moment to establish a firm Tadasana, mountain pose. Imagine that you are pulling your yoga mat in half with your feet. So your feet are stuck into the mat and then you're trying to move them apart. And while you do that, engage your quadriceps. So lift your kneecap by squeezing this big muscle in front of your legs. Tone your core muscles, so abdominal muscles, draw in towards the spine, anchoring your tailbone down. So the base of the spine anchors down while the abdominal muscles hug in, neutralizing the sway of the back. Inhale your shoulders up to your ears, exhale, roll them back and down. Shoulder blades are sliding together and down, together and down. So we're broad across our collarbones, the front of our chest. Palms face forward, so we have external rotation of the arms. Maybe draw your chin back in space ever so slightly. So the back of our neck is long while the crown of the head reaches up towards the sky. Breathing here. Never forget to breathe. We'll run through that awareness again. So check in with your feet. We're not gripping the mat with our toes. Weight is spread evenly through the feet. all of the muscles of our legs are engaged. They're isometrically contracted, so they're hugging in towards the bones. Abdominal muscles are pulling in while tailbone is dropping down. The heart is lifted while shoulder blades slide together and down. Crown of the head reaching up towards the sky, giving us a nice long back of the neck. Feeling powerful here. Our ears are over our shoulders, are over our hips, are over our ankles. So one long line of energy. Keep all of that activity, all of that integrity as you inhale. Slowly bring your arms out and up. As you exhale, fold forward, swan dive. A bend in the knees is always nice. You do whatever feels good for you. Inhale, lifting up halfway with a flat back, looking straight down so we have a long back of the neck. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, root down through the feet as you rise all the way back up. Take your time. Exhale, hands to heart center and down by your side. Continue, inhale. Exhale, diving forward. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale your hands to heart center. Quick pause while you check your alignment. Check that you're still moving with integrity. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhale, rising all the way up. Exhale your hands to heart center. Clasp your hands behind your back. Inhale, lift your heart. Bend in the knees as you exhale, fold forward. Inhale, roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. Return to standing. Keep clasping your hands. Inhale. Exhale, folding forward, bending the knees. Inhale, rolling back up. Exhale. Change the clasp of your hands behind your back. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, bend in the knees, fold forward. Inhale, rolling back up. Exhale. Inhale, lift your heart, staying anchored through the tailbone. Exhale, bend in the knees, fold forward. Inhale, rolling back up. Release the hands up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. And down by your side, pause for a moment. Take that moment of observation and trust that this is time well spent. I say that often because I know I have a tendency to feel like I have to be doing 50 things at once, and I still might not feel like I'm being productive enough. It's no way to be. You know, just pause and notice and allow. And the present moment is all we really have. Inhale, bring your arms out and up. Exhale, folding forward. This time, plant your hands. Step your left foot back in space. Lower your left knee. Your right ankle is under the right knee. Square your hips, so draw your left hip forward, right hip back in space. Your left toes can be tucked or untucked. Today I'm feeling like keeping them tucked. breathe here and look for ways to lengthen your spine. So rolling the shoulders back and down is one way to get there. If your balance is up for it today, you can press into your right foot and lift your torso, trying to stack shoulders over hips. Breathing here. On an inhale, maybe you explore reaching your arms up overhead, and we'll stay here for about 3 breaths. Continue to breathe as you draw your left hip forward, right hip back, hips are squared. On your next inhale, reach even higher. Exhale, set your hands down. Plant your hands on either side of the right foot. Lift your right knee off of the mat, pausing for a breath or two here. Stretching out that quadricep some more. Inhaling, exhaling. Hands planted, step your right foot back in space, back to plank. You know you can always lower your knees. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling. Exhale, lift your hips, return to downward facing dog. 3 to 5 breaths here. Child's pose is also available for you. If you stay in downward facing dog, check in with your foundation first. So how are you treating your wrists today? Relax your shoulders away from your ears. Neck is long, head and neck are loose. Core muscles are engaged. Bend in the knees is always fine. Breathing deeply. On an inhale, lift your left heel towards the sky. 3-legged dog, but we'll pause here for a moment. Left toes are pointed down towards the mat. Energetically pressing out through both heels, but especially that left heel. Let's look forward between our hands. That will help us keep our shoulders and our hips level. One more inhale here. See if you can lift that heel a little higher. Exhale. Knee towards nose, hover, and then set your left foot down. Do whatever it takes to get into lunge on the other side. Left ankle lands under left knee, right knee lowers down. Toes can be tucked or untucked. You will have more stability, more balance with the toes untucked, top of the foot on the mat. Again, look for length in the spine here. So if you have blocks or any kind of makeshift prop, you can put those under your hands. Rolling your shoulders back and down, looking for length in the spine and breathing. Maybe you can press up, bring your hands to thighs or hips. Again, we're looking for squared hips. So hips being level. Left hip back, right hip forward. If you lifted your torso, see if you can get your shoulders over your hips. If your balance is up for it today, maybe you inhale, reaching your arms all the way up overhead. If your shoulders are feeling tight or tired, you can let your arms come out as wide. And breathing. One more inhale here. If your arms are up, reach even higher. Exhale, bring your hands down to frame your left foot. Lift your right knee off of the mat. A few breaths here. Pressing back through the right heel. One more inhale and exhale. Inhale, a giant step forward, sending your right foot up to the sky, standing splits. Stay here for another breath or two, reaching your right heel towards the sky, right toes pointed straight down. Inhaling, and on an exhale, set your right foot down next to the left, about hips width apart. Hang out for a moment in Uttanasana, forward fold. On an inhale, slowly roll all the way back up. Palms flip forward and reach up to the sky. Exhale your hands down through heart center and to the side. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up. Exhale, take a forward fold. Let your hands touch down to the mat. Step your right foot back in space this time. Option to lower your knee and move through the flow how we just did it. Or you can keep your right knee lifted this time. Option to keep your hands on the mat or blocks, or maybe inhale, reaching your arms up overhead, crescent lunge. Keeping your left knee over the left ankle. Still working towards squared hips, so left hip back, right hip forward. The bend comes into the knee. It's all right, just keep working towards a more straight leg. We have a few friends with babies right now, and just through social media we've got to see them, and they have such freedom of movement. You know, we were all born with this range, this mobility, and it took time for us to develop these tight muscles. So go easy on yourself. It'll take time to release those patterns. Inhale, reaching your arms up overhead, if that works for you. Exhale, bend in the elbows, coming out to goddess, lifting the heart. Round of breath here. Relaxing your shoulders down. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale your hands down to the mat. Now you have options here. You're welcome to go right into child's pose, downward facing dog, or to come with me into plank for just a moment. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhale. I like to put a bend in my knees as I exhale. Sweeping back into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. As always, I like to check in with my foundation and then work my awareness up through the rest of the posture. Breathing here, 3 to 5 full, slow cycles of breath. A bend in the knees is always mighty fine. On an inhale, your right foot reaches towards the sky, three-legged dog on this side. Right toes stay pointed down towards the earth as the right heel reaches up towards the sky. Let's look forward again between our hands as our core muscles work to stabilize us and we try to keep our shoulders level. One more inhale here. Exhale, knee to nose. Hover it for just a moment and then set your right foot down. Do whatever it takes to get right foot under right knee. Left knee can lower down or stay lifted this time. Again, looking for length in the spine, so rolling the shoulders together, back and down, maybe coming to fingertips or props. Maybe inhaling our arms all the way up overhead. Right ankle staying under the right knee. I'm going to shorten my stance a bit. Left hip coming forward, right hip coming back, so hips squared, and breathe. If your balance is feeling really steady today, maybe you explore lifting your gaze to a higher point, drishti or focal point, or maybe you even explore closing your eyes. Every inhale, you breathe oxygen-rich air, prana-rich air into your body. As you exhale, you release what you do not need. Inhale, reaching high. Exhale, bring that back bend heart opener into this posture. So bending the elbows, lifting the heart, shoulder blades sliding together and down. Inhale, re-extend the arms towards the sky. Exhale, your hands down. Inhale, slowly lift that left foot foot to the sky, standing splits on the other side. Left foot is flexed. Heels reaching up as the toes point down. Inhale. Exhale. One more inhale here. Exhale, set your left foot down. Uttanasana, forward fold, sway side to side. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, root down to rise all the way up, arms out and up. Exhale, hands to heart center. And by your side, pause for just a moment here. Notice how you feel. Hopefully your body feels a bit more open. You might be feeling taller. Staying anchored through your feet, through the base of the spine. Core muscles hugging in, heart lifted. Inhale your arms out and up. Exhale, diving forward, forward fold. Hands touch down, left foot steps back and out. Toes stay pointed towards the top left corner of the mat. Anchor through the pinky side edge of the foot. Bend in the right knee as you roll up, finding warrior one. Virabhadrasana 1. So again, we're working on our hips being squared towards the top of the mat. From what I understand, this is traditionally taught with the feet actually in alignment with each other. I know my hips are a lot happier when I get a little more space. So please feel free to explore this posture however you like. Just keep in mind we want the hips level, like parallel to the top of the mat. So I like to put my hands on my hips to check in with that. Usually here it would be the left hip pulling back. So we want to work the left hip forward and the right hip back. Keep bending into your right knee. Keep anchoring down through the pinky side edge of your left foot. Maybe here we can inhale, reaching our arms up overhead. Again, keeping the arms out wider is perfectly fine. A little more space in the shoulders. You're welcome to stay here in Warrior 1 breathing, or if you'd like to explore Warrior 3, some balancing, we can go there. So I like to bring my hands back on my hips. You can also enter this with arms up overhead. We're going to begin shifting our weight into the right foot if we're going into Warrior 3. So I like to walk my feet a little closer. Start anchoring into that right leg. And if you just stay here and explore, that's totally fine too. Balance can be elusive, so go easy on yourself. If you've got the balance, that foundation, you can start to tip forward, bringing your torso towards parallel. We want to keep our hips still level, so dropping your left hip down. Squeeze your right gluteal muscles. Imagine everything in your body hugging into your midline. Staying very active through the left leg and foot. You can reach your arms up overhead if that's available to you, if you just want to explore. Maybe bring your arms out by your sides. If you fall out of it, okay, that's life, no worries. What do they say? Just get back up and do it again. Keep hugging your core muscles in. Keep thinking of a long spine. Whenever you're ready, slowly return to Warrior 1, re-extending the arms up overhead. Inhale for length. Exhale your hands down to the mat. Again, option to go right into downward facing dog or child's pose, or you can come with me this time through a Chaturanga Dandasana flow, in which case we'll be in plank for just a breath or two. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, tip forward on your tippy toes, so your shoulders actually move forward a few inches. Bend at your elbows, lowering down halfway. Elbows hug into the rib cage. Untuck your toes. Inhale, lift your heart, straightening out your arms. Exhale, downward facing dog. After that, you might want a child's pose. Do whatever you'd like for 3 to 5 breaths. Notice the thoughts coming and going through your mind. And then notice your breath. In downward facing dog, we're being kind to our wrists as we anchor down through the base of the index finger and thumb. Our shoulders are away from our ears, our neck is relaxed, core engaged, hips lifted. On an inhale, the left leg reaches into the sky. Exhale, left foot to the top of the mat. Right foot comes up and out a bit. Right toes towards the top right corner of the mat. Anchor down to the pinky side edge of the right foot. Bend in the left knee. Hips squared, so left hip back, right hip forward. And then we roll ourselves up. Boom. Warrior one. Breathing here. Always room for refinement. So look down, making sure your left knee is over the left ankle. Remember to keep pressing into the pinky side edge of the right foot. Hips are squared, so that's why I have my hands on the hips. I always like to check in. In this case, it might be a tendency that the right hip would open up to the back. So we want to square the hips towards the front. Left hip back, right hip forward. Still hugging those core muscles and dropping the tailbone down. Chest lifted, breathing. And you're welcome to stay here in Virabhadrasana 1 or come with me as we explore Warrior 3. So you can bring hands to hips. This time I'm going to explore what happens if I keep my arms extended up overhead. Shifting the weight into my left leg, firing up my left gluteal muscles as the left leg begins to take all of the body weight, staying active through the right leg. Imagining like there is a string coming from the inside of my right thigh, reaching up towards the sky. Abdominal muscles hug in so I can neutralize my spine, keep it long. I'm looking straight down so the back of my neck is long. Breathing deeply, making sure we're not gripping the mat with our left toes. Whenever you are ready, with as much control as you can muster, return to Warrior 1, setting your right foot back down. Inhaling up for length. Exhale, giant step forward, returning to the top of your mat. Inhale your arms out and up. Exhale, folding forward. Plant your hands, step back into downward facing dog. Our last one together this evening. So we're doing anything that feels nice to you here. Inhaling deeply. Exhaling completely. When you're ready, slowly return your knees to the mat. We'll do a couple more rounds of cat-cow here. Inhale, drop the belly, shoulder blades slide together, heart comes forward, chin lifts as we open up our throat. Exhale, chin to chest, hands pushed into the earth while the shoulder blades slide apart, navel towards spine, tailbone towards earth. Inhale, taking it the other way. Imagine moving energy up and down the spine. Exhale, arching the back. And return to neutral spine. Sit back on your heels and swing your legs around. Grabbing anything you would like nearby for Shavasana. We're not there yet, but we're getting close. We will have time for a lovely little meditation after Shavasana. A teaser, so don't go start doing dishes. Stay with it. With your feet on the earth, roll back onto your spine as we begin our practice. Move through a couple dynamic bridge poses. So bringing your feet in towards your tush. I like my feet a little farther away. They recommend that your fingertips can graze your heels. It feels a little intense on my knees. So you find what works for you, as long as your feet and knees and hips are all in alignment. So this is where, if we're at the studio, I'd say put a block between your thighs to squeeze it. That way we don't let our knees splay out. So imagine you've got a block there if you don't actually. And as you inhale, engage your abdominal muscles as you lift your hips up towards the sky. Maybe your arms come with and reach up and over. And exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale one more time up. And exhale down. Bring your left leg out flat. Reach your right arm up overhead, right knee over to the left side. So one more spinal twist. Slowly pass back through neutral, switching legs. So right leg comes long, left knee bends, left arm up overhead, and bring the left leg over towards the right. After a couple rejuvenating breaths, return to neutral. Kick your feet up to the sky. Maybe slide your hands under your hips. Drawing some circles with the toes, some love to the ankles. And you're welcome to stay here if you'd like, or to bend your knees towards your armpits, reaching your hands wherever you can grab on the legs. If you can reach the outer edges of the feet, go for it. Happy baby. I like to rock from side to side. So flattening out the spine. We have a natural curve of the spine. We usually want to keep that, but for happy baby, let's see if we can flatten out and put our whole spine on the mat. And whenever you're ready, inhale deeply, say goodbye to this pose, and exhale, let it go. Bring your legs out long, letting your feet flop open as we begin to sink into Shavasana. So as you settle in, grabbing a blanket if you like. I usually like a pillow or a bolster under my knees. Do whatever it takes to get yourself somewhere comfortable. And then once you're there, resist the urge to keep moving and making adjustments. See if you can just soak into the mat, just as you are. So in Shavasana, corpse pose, you don't have to do any work. Usually imagine the muscles just taking a break and just falling away from the bones. You don't have to work to be held right now. You can imagine the mat rising up to meet you like warm sand. You can just sink safely into it. As you inhale, your body expands in every direction. And as you exhale, let go a little more. If you notice yourself staying with a thought, just return your awareness back to your breath. Stay with it, breathing deeply. Palms flipped up towards the sky, receptive, open to all of the healing available to you. Begin to deepen your breath, slowly, slowly inviting movement and energy back. Drawing circles with the wrists and ankles. Maybe taking a full body stretch. Please feel free to keep your eyes closed as long as possible. We savor these final moments of practice. And take your time making your way to a comfortable, easy seat, Sukhasana. Sitting tall and easy pose, breathing deeply here. We're going to do just a moment of heart meditation. This will slow the mind, calm the entire being, promote peace and serenity, and bring you back to the present moment. comfortably with your eyes closed, bring your index fingers and thumbs together to form a triangle. And bring that triangle over your heart center space. Inhale deeply. Exhale. Inhale for a count of 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Exhale slowly and fully through the mouth. We'll repeat that cycle a time or two, inhaling at your own pace now for a count of 8. Exhaling through the mouth. Place one hand inside the other, palms face up. With your eyes closed or gazing softly down towards your hands, ask yourself, if my heart were planted, what would it grow? If my heart were planted, what would it grow? Try to be neutral about whatever your imagination brought you. Be curious and neutral. What your heart grows is neither good nor bad. Breathe deeply as you visualize the answer to your question. Bring your palms together at heart center. And close practice by sharing 3 rounds of Om. We'll use the singing bowl like we did last week, something a little different. Inhale deeply. Exhale, let the breath go. Inhaling for 3 Oms. If you'd like, you can lift your hands to your forehead space for kind and loving thoughts. Lower your hands to your heart space for kind and loving intentions. And lift your hands to your throat space for kind and loving communication. My understanding of Namaste is that beyond a greeting, it also means the light and divinity inside of me recognizes that same light in you and in all living creatures everywhere. Namaste.